The history of Afonso de Albuquerque, the architect of Portuguese power in the East. When the Portuguese first entered the Indian Ocean at the close of the 15th century, they came as pioneers of a new maritime empire, eager to secure trade and spread their dominion over distant lands. Vasco da Gama's arrival in Calicut in 1498 opened the sea route to India, but the true foundations of Portuguese imperial power in the East were laid by Afonso de Albuquerque. Known as the Lion of the Seas, and later remembered as the founder of the Portuguese Empire in Asia, Albuquerque played a decisive role in transforming scattered trading contacts into a durable political and military dominion. Taking over as governor after the death of Francisco de Almeida, Albuquerque set out not only to secure Portugal's foothold in India, but to build a system of control that would outlast him. By fortifying key positions, introducing naval strategies, and implementing administrative reforms, he created a new kind of maritime empire. His policies, ranging from military expansion to social reform, ensured that Portugal commanded the Indian Ocean and influenced the political, cultural, and economic history of India and beyond for centuries. Rise to governorship. Afonso de Albuquerque was born in 1453 in Alhandra, Portugal, into a noble family with close ties to the Portuguese monarchy. He had military experience from campaigns in North Africa, where he honed his skills in strategy and warfare. His abilities brought him to the attention of King Manuel I, who was keen to consolidate Portugal's growing overseas empire. When Francisco de Almeida, the first governor of Portuguese India, died in 1509, Albuquerque was chosen to succeed him. Unlike Almeida, who saw the Portuguese mainly as traders and naval protectors, Albuquerque envisioned a true maritime empire. He believed that Portugal could dominate the East not merely through commerce, but through direct control of key sea routes, fortified bases, and local politics. This vision set him apart from his predecessors and successors alike. Strategic strongholds, the pillars of control. One of Albuquerque's most remarkable achievements was his creation of a network of strongholds at the crucial choke points of the Indian Ocean. He recognized that whoever controlled the exits of the sea controlled trade itself. His strategy was to seize and fortify ports that could serve as bases for Portuguese fleets and as watchtowers over maritime traffic. Capture of Goa, 1510. Albuquerque's most famous conquest was Goa on the western coast of India. After an initial failure, he launched a second assault with reinforcements and successfully captured it. Goa became the capital of Portuguese India, a vital naval base, and the seat of Portuguese administration. It symbolized Portuguese permanence in the East. Control of Malacca, 1511. Realizing the importance of the Malacca Strait, Albuquerque seized the city of Malacca, the key link between the Indian Ocean and the South China Sea. With this conquest, Portugal could dominate the spice trade and influence commerce between India, China, and the Malay world. Occupation of Hormuz, 1515. Near the Persian Gulf, Albuquerque secured Hormuz, another crucial node. This gave Portugal the ability to monitor and regulate trade between the Middle East and India. Together, these conquests allowed the Portuguese to control the major sea lanes of the Indian Ocean. Unlike land empires, Albuquerque's empire was maritime, built on naval supremacy and fortified bases at strategic points. The Cartaz system, controlling the seas. To tighten Portuguese dominance, Albuquerque instituted the Cartaz system, a naval pass or license required by all ships sailing in the Indian Ocean. Local and foreign merchants were compelled to purchase this pass, which allowed Portuguese authorities to monitor maritime traffic, collect fees, and enforce their monopoly on trade. The Cartaz system was more than a revenue measure. It was a declaration of sovereignty. By making other ships dependent on Portuguese permission, Albuquerque asserted that the Indian Ocean was now under Portuguese jurisdiction. Ships without a Cartaz were treated as smugglers or pirates and were liable to be attacked. This transformed the Portuguese Navy into both an economic regulator and a military enforcer. Control over shipbuilding centers. Albuquerque also understood that naval supremacy depended not only on fleets but also on shipbuilding. To sustain their power, the Portuguese needed to prevent rivals, whether Indian rulers, Arab traders, or competing Europeans, from building strong fleets. He therefore targeted and brought under control the region's key shipbuilding centers, particularly in the Malabar and Coromandel coasts. By regulating or dismantling these facilities, the Portuguese reduced the maritime capabilities of local rulers and ensured that their own fleets faced less resistance. This strategy was crucial in maintaining Portuguese dominance over the seas for decades. Social reforms and the eradication of sati. While Albuquerque is often remembered as a conqueror, his role as a reformer also left a deep imprint on Indian society. One of the most notable aspects of his governance was his opposition to sati, the practice in which widows were burned alive on the funeral pyres of their husbands. Although sati was not widespread across all communities, it was prevalent in parts of India. Albuquerque, appalled by the practice, took measures to prohibit it within Portuguese territories. By banning sati, he positioned the Portuguese as not only military rulers, but also as reformers with a civilizing mission, aligning his rule with humanitarian ideals. This measure also served political purposes. By curbing practices that outsiders viewed as cruel, Albuquerque strengthened the Portuguese claim to moral superiority, helping justify their presence in India. At the same time, it showed his willingness to interfere in local customs, reflecting the broader colonial tendency to reshape societies under European authority. Albuquerque's vision, marriage and integration. Unlike some Portuguese officials who treated India as a mere outpost for trade, Albuquerque envisioned a more permanent settlement. He encouraged intermarriage between Portuguese men and local women, believing this would create a loyal population tied by both blood and culture to Portugal. This policy led to the rise of a mixed Indo-Portuguese community, which would play an important role in the cultural and social history of Goa and other colonies. Legacy and death. Albuquerque's career was marked by boldness, vision, and relentless ambition. By the time of his death in 1515 near Goa, he had accomplished much of his mission. He had transformed Portuguese presence in the east from a tenuous foothold into a structured maritime empire. He had secured key strategic locations, Goa, Malacca, Hormuz, that gave Portugal unmatched influence over Asian trade. He had instituted policies like the Cartaz system that ensured long-term control. He had initiated reforms, including the abolition of sati, that left a lasting social impact. Yet his death was bittersweet. Despite his achievements, Albuquerque died feeling underappreciated, having faced opposition from rivals and suspicion from the king. Nevertheless, history remembers him as the true architect of Portuguese imperial power in the East. Conclusion. Afonso de Albuquerque was not merely a governor. He was a strategist, a reformer, and a visionary empire builder. His conquest of key strongholds, introduction of the Cartaz system, control over shipbuilding, and social reforms like the eradication of sati established the foundations of Portuguese power in Asia. More than anyone else, he transformed Portugal's presence in India from a commercial adventure into a durable empire. Through his policies, Albuquerque ensured that Portugal dominated the Indian Ocean for nearly a century. His legacy is one of both military conquest and social transformation, making him one of the most significant figures in the history of European expansion in Asia. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.